Hi Melinda, how do I look? I am here to give you a demo on how to make these wrap rings. And they're just simple half hard round silver wire, and you can put any bead or stone on there. I make a lot of them with the standard rectangle trilogy bead, but also I'll do crystal quartz nuggets, oval, check glass tile beads. I might just send you a bag of stones like this because they look awesome with, you know, carnelian, ocean quartz, green aventurine. I do them with tons of stones and they're really popular. So I usually do them with 20 gauge wire, and I used to actually do them with 18, but I'm about to do them with 22 because of the price of silver. And I believe 22 gauge is what I sent you in the mail anyway. So we're good. I just tried it out and it seems fine. It yields a little bit lighter weight ring, but it looks good and it's actually a little easier to work with. So we're gonna do 22 gauge for now. And you start by taking 18 inches of 22 gauge. I'm squatting because I wanted the camera to get the ring mandrel. So I have a ring mandrel here with sizes, and then I have it in this wooden mount with a hole in it and a vice grip to my desk. So that's how, this is really helpful in making the ring. Someone made this for me. So that's why I'm sort of squatting, because I wanted you to see that. Maybe I can lower my chair. No, this is as low as we go, I think. No, a little lower. All right, so you start with 18 inches of silver wire, and you actually might be able to get that down a little bit. And be my guest if you're able to do it with less than that. You might need a little more if you're doing a bigger ring, a little less if you're doing a smaller ring, and depending on how many times you want to wrap it around the stone. So there's 12 inches, 18 inches seems to be safe with most sizes. So here's my wire. I take the stone I'm going to use. In this case, I'm going to use a turquoise oval bead. You put it on the wire, and you get it to eyeball where the middle is. Put it where the middle is. And then you choose the front of your stone. Sometimes I actually use beads that have a flaw on one side or the other for rings, because you only see one side. So put the best side forward, or choose the best side rather, and then bend the wire on the left of that stone down at a 90-degree angle. Do the same thing on the other side, down real up close to the stone, as close as you can, so it looks like this. And last chance to make sure you have the side that you like the best facing up. Then you place it on the mandrel, and if I wanted to make a size 7 ring, I work with the mandrel at an 8.5. So you add about a size and a half to what size you want this to end up. So let's say I'm going to make a size 7. I'm going to slide this down to 8.5. I know you have the step mandrel, so that might actually be even easier. And then you hold it there, and you start wrapping. One wire goes above the stone, and one goes below. So there's one wrap. And you crisscross. You don't crisscross them, but you switch hands in the back. You bring them back to the front. So now the one in my right hand is coming out on top as I turn myself into a pretzel. The one in this side is coming out on the bottom. And I'll hold them here secure in front of this stone. And then in the back, I have 4 bands of wire around, and that's what we want. So I'm going to stop here. I'm not going to wrap it anymore. So you wrap it, I guess it's twice around, so that there's 4 bands of wire in the back. This is where it gets kind of hard. So you hold the wire tight with one hand, and then you squish all the bands together in the back. They actually spread out sometimes. And this might be a great job for 2 people, especially as you're learning, because I find that even with the mandrel mounted, I always want about 7 hands to do this. And it's a little easier with this 22 gauge wire, but in some ways it's a little tougher because it doesn't hold its shape quite as well. Actually, I think it's easier because you don't have to wrestle with it so much. All right, so I line up, try to get the 4 bands really close together in the back. That's what I'm doing. I'm lining them up so they're like all in a row, touching each other. Then I come to the front and I start wrapping the stone in the front. So I'm essentially making a frame on the stone. And I'm going around like that once, switch hands, around again. My computer keeps going on sleep. Around the stone again, around again. And this is the part that I try to do somewhat neatly. Some designers like to make this a real messy like nest, and I've done that before, but for these I'm just trying to keep it somewhat neat looking, kind of all in line. So now there's 4 bands of silver on the, if you're wearing the ring, the right side of the stone. I can see 4 bands of silver and 4 bands of silver here on the left side. So I'm going to stop and I'm going to hold these where they are, and then the next step is, while you're holding this, kind of make that last bend in the wire. While you're holding this tight, I'm going to pull it off the mandrel, and then I'm going to wrap those final wraps on the left and the right of the stone. So once you pull the ring off the mandrel, it's going to want to really expand, usually. A little less so with this gauge. So you kind of just have to be ready to wrap pretty quickly or hold it tightly. So I took the ring off. I'm going to start with one side and take the little wire that's left and wrap it through the finger hole as tightly as I can, as close up to that wrap that was around the stone as possible. And I'm going to go about 3 times around the band. I'm wrapping around the band here. And I learned how to do this with pliers originally, but with this type of wire, it's pretty easy to do with your fingers. I think it's a lot easier. Kind of wrap it and then I shove it through with my thumb. Then I grab it on the other side. Do it again. Taking care to keep the wraps all in line. They're all in like a perfectly straight line. It's pretty blurry on there, I think. Then same thing on the other side. Right up as close up high to the stone as I can before I wrap it, so that all the wrapping is happening kind of up high, near as close to the stone as possible. That'll make for a stronger ring. Wrapping around. That's 2, 3. Oh, I think I need to go one more time. So about 3 times. It can be 4, as long as the 2 sides are the same. So one you're going to be clipping on this side, and one you're going to be clipping on this side, because they've been wrapping it in a mirror from each other. And you want to clip the wire. You want to clip the wire so that it's not going to poke into your finger when you're wearing the ring. So you want to try to clip it not on the rings here, not on this side, like not on the left or the right of the ring as you're wearing it, but sort of on the front and the back. That makes sense. So where I'm cutting it here is right there. And then flip it over. The other one gets cut on the other side because they're opposite. And then after you cut it and you have this little, I'm going to cut that one a little closer, a little stub of wire, take your pliers and bend that pointy stub into the ring kind of as deeply as you can so that it's not going to poke the wearer. And then what I always do is I just try it on. It doesn't even fit me. I try it on and I see if it pokes me, and if it does, I try to push it down a little further and a little different angle with the pliers, and occasionally I'll take a little file and file it if it's just really pointy and I can't get it. This one feels okay. If I put it back on the mandrel now, as you remember I was shooting for size 7. This is about a 6.5 now. Then I take my rawhide mallet, rawhide so that it doesn't mar the silver, and I hammer it lightly on the back and the side, and then get it down to a 7 or about where it needs to be. You can usually stretch them a half a size or maybe more if you really whack it. And then it's done. I pull it off the mandrel, and it's all set. And that was 11 minutes, my video, so it should take you 11 minutes or less once you stop talking and get the hang of it. Ask if you have any questions. Thank you for watching. Bye.